Good evening, good evening. What's up, folks? Welcome to a new live edition of Carolina Panthers Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody's had a delightful Tuesday. Hope everybody's doing well. Just finished watching the craptacular NXT 2.0. So I figured I'd come on here and do a live stream about something positive because I needed to get that NXT 2.0 dirty taste out of my mouth. So how about we talk about Baker Mayfield, the newest Carolina Panther. I know he had some interviews today. He had a press conference today. A lot going on, a lot to get ready for. But Baker Mayfield is officially a Carolina Panther. Well, here we are. It's a done deal. Now it's just time to go to work. It's time to go to work. So far, seems that Baker Mayfield's been handling things well. You know, has been showing a very positive, upbeat attitude about the situation. So I mean, this is a good start. This is a good start. He's here. He's got a fresh start with the Carolina Panthers. And I know he mentioned that, the Cleveland Browns will always have a special place in his heart. I mean, spent 4 years there. So I mean, and it's totally understandable. He's had a little bit of success there. I mean, he's been to the playoffs. He's won a playoff game. He's had some success there. But, he's coming into new system, new team, fresh start, 5th year contract option. He has a chance to see if he can earn himself. Excuse me. Sorry about that. He has a chance to earn an extension, potentially a new contract, depending on how he does. But I'm very intrigued. And you know what? I'm just looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do out there on the field for Carolina. Now, one of the things that was mentioned, and overall, we just have to take this with a grain of salt. Take what's been spoken, but it has been said that the quarterback competition will be an open competition, which I am not really surprised that was said. But I mean, if they got to go by the book, they got to go by the book. But at the same time, I really feel like the writing is on the wall for Baker Mayfield to get a shot at Cleveland. The scenario just seems almost perfect positioning for Baker Mayfield to walk into his first game against Cleveland. It just seems way too perfect of a scenario for him to not start that game. But we'll have to see what happens. I mean, I know a lot of folks say that, there's no point in bringing him in for him not to start. That is a fair point. But because they don't have any plans of shipping Sam Darnold, then, I mean, you can't be too surprised that Scott Fitterer was saying open competition for starting quarterback. Joe Valesco, what's up? Did you see the Texans' bright red helmet? No, I haven't. Interesting, but no, I haven't. But But yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to battle for it. And I think it will be a very interesting battle. Already Baker Mayfield has been talking with Matt Rule. Wow. Matt Rule, Scott Fitterer, Sam Darnold. Apparently, he's synced up with Sam Darnold as well. And, they're starting to get on the same page. And it looks like, maybe before training camp, maybe they can get together, throw some balls, run some drills. I mean, hey, got to start building that chemistry. I know Baker Mayfield was talking about how him and his wife were looking for homes. It sounds like he's looking forward to trying some Bojangles. So, hey, that's cool. Authentic Carolina barbecue while you're at it. This is good. This is good. This is good. And the fact that Sam Darnold reached out to Baker Mayfield, I mean, hey, that says something, I guess. But the seeds are already being planted, and I think it's just a matter of just time to get to work. Time to get to work. Now, it has also been said that Baker Mayfield will get number 6. Joe Valesco says, "What is Bojangles?" Oh, dude, Bojangles is delicious. Really, really delicious. If you want good, delicious chicken, not that's not KFC, check out Bojangles. I don't know if you have a Bojangles in your area. I know usually Popeyes is their competition and KFC, but Bojangles, that good, delicious Cajun chicken and delicious fries and the Bo-Berry biscuits, iced tea. Man, you gotta try Bojangles, especially if you're gonna come through here through North Carolina. You gotta hit up a Bojangles. Joe Valesco, you never been to a Bojangles? What in the world? Where do you stay at? That is, if you don't mind sharing. I'm kind of curious. But Baker Mayfield was able to strike up a deal with punter Johnny Hekker, and he's able to get the number 6. Pasco Washington. Oh, okay. That explains it. Dude, you gotta make your way over this neck of the woods sometime. Bojangles. You'd love Bojangles. You like good chicken? Come through, have some Bojangles. You should totally do that. But apparently, I'm guessing that he made a good deal with Johnny Hekker. But yeah, Baker Mayfield has secured the number 6. And there's an article about it, actually. Check this article out. It is on Panthers.com. Baker Mayfield secures his jersey number. So he'll get back his usual number, but it'll cost him something. Apparently, he had to haggle with Johnny Hekker. So Baker Mayfield, he said, "Guess it's time to break the news. I made a deal, did my own negotiating with Johnny Hekker. Obviously, when it comes to a 4-time All-Pro, I had to ask permission, I mean, yes, I understand he's a punter, but 4-time All-Pro, he's good at what he does." And it says, while the details of the transaction are sparse, he clearly made it worth the veteran punter's time. Let's see, what else does it say? Hekker said Mayfield sent a long initial message through the Godfather, which is Panthers equipment manager Don Toner, setting the stage for the switch. Johnny Hekker had worn the number 6 throughout his 10-year career with the Rams. Since his college number 7 was retired in the Hall of Fame in honor of Hall of Fame quarterback Bob Waterfield, linebacker Shaq Thompson has the number 7 here in with the Carolina Panthers. But with a little encouragement from Mayfield, he was willing to adjust. And Johnny Hekker's quotes were this. He says, I quote, "Gas prices are crazy these days, so you've got to do what you can to keep the tank full. But in all reality, it's kind of a fresh start for both of us here in Carolina. You want a quarterback who can feel good about what they're playing in. I'm excited to get a fresh start and a new number for the first time in my career. It's been a great deal for Baker to have a little bit of familiarity and feel himself in the number 6. Mason D, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. So, yeah, sounds like it was definitely mutual from both Baker Mayfield and Johnny Hekker. I mean, both getting fresh start, therefore both getting new numbers. Baker Mayfield is getting 6 with Carolina, so I have to wait and see what number Johnny Hekker will get as his replacement. The article continues and it says, for Mayfield, the number carries some symbolism since it's the one they handed him when he was proving himself in college. And he says, and I quote, because, he played with the Sooners, 6 is special to me. Not because it was ever my favorite number. It was the number I was given as a walk-on at Texas Tech. And then when I transferred, the people at Oklahoma thought it was my favorite number, so they just gave it to me again. And so it's just stuck with me. To me, it kind of symbolizes my story, my history with that, and I truly enjoy being able to represent that. And it's something special to me now. But at first, it was not. So I'm thankful for Johnny being reasonable and giving up his number for such a veteran of that many years. It also says, when Hekker arrived in free agency, the all-decade punter from the 2010s had taught quarterback P.J. Walker out of the number originally, and Walker's currently wearing number 11. That is true. That is true. Johnny Hekker had to negotiate with P.J. Walker to get number 6 originally. So, wow, 2 number switches. But, hey, you gotta give him mad props for willing to do that. Changing the number once and then changing it again after just getting here. Hey, gotta give him credit for that. But yeah, there was a lot of speculation as to what number Baker Mayfield was going to wear, but he was able to work it out with Johnny Hekker and secure number 6. So he also talked about how, and there's some other articles here from Panthers.com as well that I'm going to dig into. Also talked about how Baker Mayfield understands that he's coming into this having to fight for his spot. I mean, after all, Carolina has no plans to shop Sam Darnold. So he's in for a fight. I know a lot of folks are saying it should be easy for Baker Mayfield, but we have to also keep in mind Sam Darnold is fighting to keep his spot and to keep his tenure here in Carolina. That is, if he can ever break out. And this is pretty much Sam Darnold's last chance to break out. But of course, the first task is securing that starting quarterback spot. Because it's not going to just be handed to Baker Mayfield. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. But I personally would imagine that there's some motivation on Baker Mayfield, being that week 1 is against Cleveland. So Jeff R., welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Says this isn't a competition. Baker will 100% be the starter. I don't know. They are saying that to keep the morale up. Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Normally, yeah, I definitely believe the writing is on the wall, but there are two factors that make this kind of sort of understandable. One being that Scotty Fitty said so, and two, they have no plans to shop Sam Darnold. I think those two things alone, is kind of evidence that Baker Mayfield's not just going to be handed the starting job. Oh, and if I were to add a third thing, Sam having the advantage with the OTAs. So, for the record per se, for the record. Now, I know that I've been hearing mixed things about. Some say he had good OTAs, others say he had great OTAs. I don't know what to believe, but he has the advantage. He has the advantage. Might be a small one, but it's one he has. Jeff R. says, Blitz, can you imagine what the uproar would be if Sam started? Not happening, bro. Uproar, yes. But it doesn't guarantee that it won't happen. Because you have to remember how things went down when they decided to bite the bullet and bring Cam in. And unfortunately, that didn't go too well. So, and the thing is, why is he still here? You know what I mean? It just, you would think that bringing in a Baker Mayfield and not letting go of a Sam Darnold, it's a pretty expensive backup. If Sam Darnold does, indeed become the backup, that's a pretty expensive backup. $18 million is a backup? That's not normal. That's not normal. So there's that. Cam started over Darnold and he didn't even know the playbook. Well, that's not necessarily a good thing. And not only that, Darnold did get hurt. He did also get hurt as well. So Darnold, then again, he's never gone through a complete season before in his career. Sam Darnold's never finished a complete season. So, but he did get hurt as well. But because he only played 12 games? 12 games last season, which I think was the same amount of games he played the season before that. So, yeah, Darnold is always hurt. Yeah, he's taking quite a beating, especially from seeing ghosts. But business-wise, I can understand open competition for this quarterback spot. I can understand as much as I would like Baker Mayfield to get his shot. I can understand why they're doing a quarterback competition. He's better when he's hurt because he's not on the field throwing hospital bills to our wide receivers. Well, technically you're right. Technically you're right. But I don't know. I don't know, bro. I've been hearing mixed things. I've been hearing Sam Darnold doing good in the OTAs, but then again, I mean, OTAs. So where they can't really hit and get in the way. So that's another thing as well. But Baker Mayfield in one of these articles was saying that he says, I'm not going to sit here and be a robot and tell you that's not one I've marked on the calendar already. This is in regards to week 1 against Cleveland. One, that's not who I am. To me, it's about winning games. Whoever we have marked on the schedule, I'm going to try to win. Obviously, this one has a little more history and personal meaning, but for me, it's about winning and setting the tone for the rest of the year. And however I can help this team do that, I'm going to do. And when he was asked if he is the type of person that holds grudges, Baker Mayfield grinned and said, I try not to. Well, he's definitely getting a fresh start. So I expect that he's going to bring it. Now, I got a question for y'all. How many games would we have to win? Let's say Baker Mayfield is the guy. Wins the starting job, plain and simple. How many games would Baker Mayfield have to win to get himself a fresh contract to stay with Carolina? What are y'all's thoughts on that? And while y'all are thinking on that, I'm going to read Jeff R's comment. I love your content, Blintz, because you look at things from all perspectives. But Matt Rule is all in on Baker. He begged Scott to okay the trade. So I've been told. Jeff R says 10 wins. Okay, 10 wins. And honestly, I believe 10 wins will not only do that, but I'm hoping that'll be enough for a playoff spot. Now, so 10 wins. A wild card. So 5 more than what we had last year. At least 10 wins. I'm gonna just throw this out here. What about 8? Think 8 would qualify? Or still no? Because I've been hearing a lot of people say that they would consider it if he won 8 games. Jeff R says, nope. Fair enough. Fair enough. So pretty much, I know me personally, we'd have to make the playoffs for Matt Rule to stay. But then again, I don't know. Because when you look at the situation, Matt Rule's coming into this having what? 3 or 4 different quarterbacks starting. So I just really feel like this being like the 4th starting quarterback, and still don't get enough to make the playoffs. I just don't see any reason to keep Matt Rule there. Like, I just Because that doesn't look good. That many quarterbacks and still can't get a playoffs. It doesn't look good to me. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good because you don't want to go through a whole lot of consecutive seasons playing quarterback carousel, quarterback footsies. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just really feel like for things to really turn around for Carolina, this is the year they got to make it to the playoffs. They just got to make it to the playoffs. Jeff R says, I think we have to make the playoffs for Baker to stay. Facts. Mainly because of the amount of money we are going to have to kick out. And we're going to be in cap trouble next year. This is true, y'all. This is very true. We gotta deal with some cap. Plus, I don't know if Carolina is gonna try to make any other additions this right now. And then also remember, they still got to work out Matt Corral's rookie contract. That's still not signed yet. He's the only rookie left that's not signed. I do feel like Davis Cheeks is probably going to be out. PJ Walker might be out. Will we see Matt Corral? I don't know, y'all. Bringing in Baker Mayfield and they're not getting rid of Sam Darnold. I don't know if we're gonna see Matt Corral outside of preseason. I don't know, y'all. But it doesn't really bother me because I was going into this with the impression that he was going to sit out and learn for a year. But then again, if Baker Mayfield lights it up, then I mean, you have to strongly consider giving him a new contract to be the new franchise quarterback for Carolina. Ooh, I got a question for y'all. Remember when Deshaun Watson put up top 5 quarterback numbers the year the Texans went 4-12? What if Baker Mayfield did something similar, but we had a losing record? Would you still consider re-signing him? Like, just the defense just took a bad hit this year. But our offense just shined like crazy. And despite another craptacular losing record, Baker Mayfield lights it up with Pro Bowl numbers. Do you re-sign him? What are y'all's thoughts on that? Because I know that's been kind of bounced around quite a bit, and it's a reasonable question, but if you ask me, I think Panther fans want to see playoffs more than Pro Bowls. I think being that they haven't been to the playoffs since 2017, folks want to see playoffs. Jeff R says there's only one reason why Baker's here. Matt Rule. McAdoo doesn't like him, which is true. That is the word, that he does not like him. So no, nothing less than a playoff appearance will keep him here. But at the same time, then McAdoo's going to be working with him, so he better learn how to like him. That's all I can say about that. He better start learning how to like him, because he's gonna have to work with him. He's gonna have to work with him. I just feel like if this works out really well for Baker Mayfield, and this equals playoffs, we probably might not see Matt Corral for a bit. So that's honestly what I'm thinking. And just a lot of the dynamic changes now that Carolina has secured a Baker Mayfield. Past his physical, he's ready to go. He's ready to work. He's ready to work. And they got all this done before training camp. Now it's just a matter of getting everything to gel together. Jeff R says McAdoo has bought into Matt Corral. So unless we're in the playoffs, then Rule and Baker is out of here. I see. I actually think we're a playoff team with Baker, though. Yeah, that's definitely what I'm hearing a lot of, and it's totally understandable. I mean, somebody that was in the playoffs 2 years ago, something Sam Darnold hasn't even sniffed. And okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I don't see what is up with so many people throwing up the comparison and stats between Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, and then want to flash interceptions. Baker Mayfield, most interceptions since 2018. Like, we're really comparing the two? Like, really? I mean, I know Sam Darnold has had some bad luck with some teams, but I really just don't think it's a fair comparison. I don't think it's a fair comparison at all, but that's just me. There's an ESPN article, though, I wanted to talk about. Very interesting stuff here. So this is about the winners and losers of the Baker Mayfield trade and all that sort of stuff. I kind of want to go into this. Okay, so let's go through the winners and losers of this whole Baker Mayfield trade. The winners, the Carolina Panthers. It explains. By the way, this is an article written by ESPN staff writer Bill Barnwell. He says, and I quote, "From Carolina's perspective, this is an easy victory. Mayfield has his foibles, and I think it's fair to wonder whether he's someone worth a significant long-term commitment, but he has been a competent NFL starting quarterback when healthy. The Panthers are getting that for a conditional fifth-round pick while paying the former first overall selection what is reportedly $4.85 million, which Cleveland is going to be paying $10.5 million, while the rest of the remainder of Mayfield's $18.8 million salary is converted into incentives." Continuing. That's excellent value for even a borderline starting quarterback. Consider that the Washington Commanders sent 2 third-round picks and swapped second-rounders to get a more starter on a more expensive contract, Carson Wentz. The Colts gave up a third-round pick for 2 years and $54 million for Matt Ryan. Heck, the Panthers themselves sent second, fourth, and sixth-round picks to the Jets for Sam Darnold. Then guaranteed him more than $18 million for 2022. You might prefer Ryan or Wentz, but there's a much bigger gap in price than there is in talent or expected production between these passers. And looking back at last year, we definitely gave up way too much for Sam Darnold. Unlike the Darnold deal, which required the Panthers to commit to a second season to make logical sense, Carolina's in for 1 year with Baker Mayfield on what amounts to backup quarterback money. If Baker Mayfield excels in Carolina, the Panthers can work on an extension or can franchise tag Baker Mayfield in 2023 when Darnold's deal comes off the books. Carolina GM Scott Fitterer and company might still want to take a bigger swing in the draft or at a veteran like Kyler Murray if he were to come available. But Mayfield improves the Panthers in 2022 without compromising any long-term flexibility. Think about that, y'all. Think about that. That is an option. Baker Mayfield does well. They could franchise tag him. Now, my thing about, because you mentioned Kyler Murray, personally, I like Kyler Murray, but I think he's a playoff bust. He is not someone, I compare him to James Harden. I think he's the James Harden of NFL quarterbacks in the league currently. I just think he's a playoff bust. I like Kyler Murray, but I think he's a playoff bust. So that's my thoughts on him. But I could see potentially a franchise tag used on Baker Mayfield. But then there's also the task of settling the cap situation, because we will be over the cap next year. So a lot of things have to work out, but I would agree the winners in this trade, Carolina Panthers, because they did not have to give up much to get a Baker Mayfield. Plain and simple as that. They didn't have to give up much. It was like chump change. If anything, we fleeced the Cleveland Browns. Another winner in this, Coach Matt Rule. That's right. Apparently, he's a winner in this. The article says, if Rule is actually coaching for his job in 2022, Baker Mayfield drastically increased the former Temple leader's chances of sticking around, as Jeff R., you had talked about earlier. Rule was looking at a quarterback depth chart of Darnold, P.J. Walker, and third-round rookie draft pick Matt Corral before Wednesday's deal, because that was what our quarterback depth chart looked like. Darnold has now started his career with four consecutive, to all the Sam Darnold loving fans out there, 4 consecutive below average seasons. The 8 other quarterbacks who began their own careers in the same way, there's 8. Check this list out. Blake Bortles, Tim Couch, Jeff George, Joey Harrington, Rick Meyer, Mike Pagel, Jake Plummer, and Mr. Butt Fumble, Mark Sanchez. Optimists can point to George and Plummer, but they were much closer to league average early in their careers than Darnold has been. Let's continue. P.J. Walker has 8 interceptions on 122 career attempts, while Corral was drafted in a round where the success rate for signal callers turning into NFL starters isn't very high, which is true. The Panthers traded up for Matt Corral during the draft makes it seem like they didn't really have a long-term plan on a Baker Mayfield. But that's a sunk cost at this point. Baker Mayfield has posted 2 above-average seasons in 4 tries as a pro. And his 2021 campaign was compromised in part by a significant shoulder injury. Of course, non-throwing shoulder. His floor has been better than Darnold's typical level of play, and his ceiling over a full season is better than Darnold has ever looked for more than a month at a time. So I really don't get a lot of the comparisons between Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. I just, just to keep it real, I don't get a lot of the comparisons. But agreed upon. Matt Rule fighting to keep his spot. Matt Rule might be on the hottest of the hottest of the hottest seats ever created. Like, Matt Rule might be literally sitting on like a hellfire hot seat. That's how bad it is. Oh, man. Dang, some of those named quarterbacks. Tim Couch, ugh. Man, he was a craptacular quarterback. Joey Harrington, Jake Plummer, and Mark Sanchez. Well, he did have some playoff experience, but he's still Mr. Butt Fumble. Oh man. Okay, so 2 winners. Let's look at a loser. And first loser that got listed on here, Sam Darnold. So check this out. It says, and I quote, obviously the trade significantly reduces the chances of Sam Darnold starting in Carolina. I wouldn't close the door altogether on Darnold seeing time for the Panthers in 2022. Because only because the price Carolina paid doesn't exactly lock it into Baker Mayfield, which is understandable. Fitterer and Rule were willing to trade much more significant draft capital and commit to a second year to acquire Sam Darnold a year ago, which was crazy. Meanwhile, they weren't willing to pay full freight for Baker Mayfield in March after the Watson trade and waited for the Browns' asking price to come down before finalizing an official deal months later. It's difficult to imagine Sam Darnold losing a competition to Baker Mayfield and then spending the rest of the season on the bench for the Panthers before landing a starting job next offseason. That might be a fair argument. Let me read that again. It says it's difficult to imagine Darnold losing a competition to Baker Mayfield and then spending the season on the bench for the Panthers before landing a starting job next offseason. He has to wash away the significant amount of bad tape he has put on record over the past 4 seasons. And once you stop being treated as a viable starter or a promising prospect, it's almost impossible to get back on that track again. And that is going to be the biggest challenge for Sam Darnold. Is there a chance that he could still accomplish that here? Yes, but the door has tremendously been closing. I will say that. Is there a chance? Yes, but it might be extremely slim. Because as crazy as it sounds, there's a chance. There is a chance. As slim as possible, there is a chance. But that door, we all know, has been closing like crazy. Just look at someone like Blake Bortles, who was 1 quarter away from the Super Bowl at the end of 2017. Struggled in 2018 and has thrown a total of 2 passes since then. Oh, yeah, that is true. As crazy as that sounds, that is true. Jeff R. says, Blitz, Baker voluntarily took a pay cut to come here. His agent already had confirmation from Rule that he would be the starter. Really? Really? He could have easily waited and Cleveland would have to cut him and pay him. I figured he just wanted out of Cleveland, period, regardless of where he would go to. So you're saying he's pretty much, quote unquote, promised the starting quarterback position? I mean, if that's the case, great. But I don't know. He would have to get cut, though. That is true. He would have to technically get cut. That is true. But I don't know. Just with him being told and with Scott Fitterer announcing that it's open competition, I mean, in front of a press or in front of a live press, I mean, but I guess we'll have to see. I mean, I will say a majority of the Keep Pounding Nation are looking forward to Baker Mayfield stepping out on that field as the starter. That's for sure. I don't know how jersey sales are going to be, but I can imagine tons of the Keep Pounding Nation are looking forward to Baker Mayfield stepping out on that field and getting under center as a Carolina Panther. Let us continue. For Darnold, I wonder if he just plays out the exact same scenario we saw with Mayfield in Cleveland, with the former Jet starter playing the role of the displaced incumbent. The best thing for Darnold, and likely for the Panthers, would be a trade where the Panthers eat some of the $18.9 million owed to the USC product, while a new team gives up a late round pick and pays Darnold like a backup, chipping in $5 million or so. Mayfield gave up $3.45 million to help facilitate the deal, a precedent Darnold would likely have to match or exceed. But even at that price, are there many teams who would be interested in Darnold? And I don't think there's a single team interested in Sam Darnold. At least not to my knowledge. I don't think there's a single team that wants Sam Darnold. Jeff R. says, Cleveland would not have kept him on the roster. He could have waited. There were a few teams that wanted him. They just wouldn't trade for him. So he didn't have to come here if he didn't want to. Which is a fair point. And then I don't really know how hard Seattle pushed for him. Like, I don't know a whole lot of details. I figured Seattle could probably offer more since they're rebuilding, but I'm not too sure how hard Seattle pushed for him. But I remember that name was in the mix. But I think the idea of trading Sam Darnold, I don't think anybody wants him. I highly doubt that anybody wants him. And you are right, Jeff R. He did take a voluntary pay cut. That is fair. Pretty much pulled a Dirk Nowitzki. Now that's one player I will say he sacrificed so much. Because Dirk Nowitzki, one of the pretty much the greatest Dallas Maverick of all time, took so many pay cuts to help make his team better, and Mark Cuban dropped the ball like a dumb owner that he is. Oh, I believe it, Jeff R. Nobody wants Sam Darnold. I believe it. I 1 gajillion% believe it. Shoot, you don't have to tell me twice. I believe it. Let's continue. The Browns could use a backup for Jacoby Brissett if Watson is suspended for the entire season. But they didn't make him part of this deal. Watson has been accused in the civil lawsuits of 25 women of actions ranging from sexual assault to inappropriate behavior during massage sessions. The Denver Broncos don't have much behind Russell Wilson, but they might be afraid to trade away more draft capital after giving up a haul to get their starter. The Dallas Cowboys, Los Angeles Rams, or Cincinnati Bengals could justify upgrading behind their starters, but maybe not while paying several $1 million in the process. At this point, most teams are locked into their backups, so the most likely scenario would be some team trading for Darnold if they lose either their number one or number two quarterbacks to a serious injury. There's one team left in the quarterback race, but they might be locked in to their top two options at this point. And this is actually segueing into another loser, the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks. It says, by passing up the opportunity to trade for Mayfield at what was an extremely modest cost, the Seahawks sure seem like they're going to move forward in 2022 with Geno Smith and Drew Lock as their quarterback competition. It's kind of surprising, if you ask me. It has been difficult to understand or believe since the Wilson trade actually went down, but everything the Seahawks have said and done makes it seem like they believe they can coax above average play out of what appears to be replacement level options. Wow, so they're really banking on Drew Lock or Geno Smith. Wow. Hey, not my team, so whatever. Let's continue. I'm not sure I really understand Seattle's lack of interest in Baker Mayfield, especially at this cost. Nobody loves competition quite like Seattle coach Pete Carroll. And for whatever you want to say about Mayfield's ability, it's hard to argue with the Oklahoma's product's desire. And Mayfield was playing in a run-heavy, play-action-intensive offense in Cleveland, one that bears at least some similarity to what the Seahawks are expected to run in 2022. But then, to be fair, we got to remember, this is the same Pete Carroll that was confident in running a pass play on 2nd and goal with a timeout left after beast mode got him to the goal line. So I don't believe a word Pete Carroll says. I'm just going to keep it real. Pete Carroll, I do not trust. I do not trust. And this is just me. This is just me. But, and you know, I'm no NFL quarterback, but if this was like a same situation in Madden, and I was in that same scenario, that's Audible City. That's Audible City. I'm shocked that Russell Wilson didn't do that, but that should have been Audible City. I'm sorry, but that should have been Audible City. Jeff R says, it's simple. Seahawks didn't want Baker because they're in a complete rebuild. No need to pay for a quarterback with no weapons to make a deep run. Make no mistake, Baker will require a hefty paycheck next year. Now I think about it, who does the Seahawks have other than Lockett and DK Metcalf? They don't really have any other well-known weapons, do they? Other than Metcalf and Lockett? Nobody else? I didn't think so. So that's a fair point, actually, Jeff R. That's a fair point. That is a fair point. I didn't think they had any other notable weapons. And I know they picked up Charles Cross for their O line, but yeah, nobody else. Okay, let's continue. Paying significant draft capital for Mayfield would have been a bad idea, but getting him for pennies on the dollar would be a good move for a team needing a backup, let alone one with question marks about its starter. There is one more starting caliber quarterback on the market, but given where his current team plays, that passer is likely off limits to the Seattle Seahawks, and that quarterback has an even murkier future. And I'm sure y'all probably know who I'm talking about. And it's another that in this article is placed in the losers category. A certain San Francisco 49er, former Patriots quarterback. You guessed it, Jimmy Garoppolo. What's up, Jarrett Cole? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Jimmy Garoppolo. This is interesting, y'all. This is really interesting. Okay, why Jimmy Garoppolo is listed as one of the losers in this winners-losers scenario with this Baker Mayfield trade. It says, and I quote, in part owing to Garoppolo's right shoulder injury, the 49ers are stuck in a situation they would really rather have avoided. The Panthers were the team best positioned to give the Niners GM John Lynch a meaningful return for Garoppolo, who has just under $25 million in non-guaranteed money left on the final year of his current deal. The only remaining organization with a significant need at quarterback are the Seahawks. And while anything's possible, you have to figure that the 49ers would rather not trade Garoppolo within the NFC West division to their arch rivals, which, NFC West, Niners and Seahawks are in the same division. Jeff R. says, rumor has it that Tom Brady wants Jimmy G, but Brady doesn't want him there. Oh, that Tampa Bay wants Jimmy G, but not Tom Brady. Oh, man. Tampa Bay wanting Jimmy G, but Tom Brady doesn't want Jimmy G. Well, I mean, we don't even know how long Tom Brady is even going to play for. But then again, he's going to probably try to play until he's like 50 or something like that. But, I guess that's fair. I mean, Jimmy G is younger. So, I mean, Jimmy G's much younger, still in his 30s. Cringe 2K19, welcome to the stream. As a Browns fan, wishing Baker Mayfield the best. Appreciate that. May the best team win come week one. I don't know how y'all feel about Jacoby Brissett, but may the best team win week one. Jeff R. says that's why they want Jimmy G to play after Brady leaves, which is understandable, which is definitely understandable. So, I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's definitely not a bad idea. You still got Jimmy G placed around weapons and talent. So, hey, I can understand the desire. Let's continue. It says, so now what? Garoppolo is expected to start throwing later this month. But what do the 49ers do after he arrives? It doesn't make sense to eat $20 million or so in salary to trade Garoppolo for a conditional late round pick. Keeping him either leaves the 49ers with the most expensive backup in football history, or it blocks Trey Lance, for whom they used 3 first-round picks to move up in the draft and acquired last April. Cutting Garoppolo saves the money, but it leaves the Niners without any draft compensation for their starter and allows him to sign wherever he wants, with Seattle as the glaring favorite pending its love affair with Locke and Smith. Whew. That is really a sticky situation for the Niners. That's a really sticky situation for the Niners. One interesting possibility that has suddenly opened up, and cringe, check this out. Would the Browns trade for Garoppolo if he's healthy in August and Watson is suspended for the entire season? Kevin Stefanski's offense in Cleveland shares many similarities to what Kyle Shanahan runs in San Francisco, so there wouldn't be as significant of a learning curve as there might be in other landing spots. The Browns have $48 million in cap space, so they would be the one team that could trade for Jimmy Garoppolo and absorb his contract without having to restructure any deals. Uh-oh. That's interesting. Cringe, what do you think about that? Would you consider trading for Jimmy Garoppolo pending Deshaun Watson's status and the potential of him being suspended for the season? This is actually intriguing. Panther fans, what do y'all think about that? Because that could lead to the Carolina Panthers defense facing Jimmy Garoppolo week 1. I just really don't know if Browns fans are really looking forward to Jacoby Brissett. It's a really interesting situation. Let's continue. A 1-year marriage of convenience would make sense for both sides should a Watson suspension occur. Garoppolo would likely be an upgrade on Brissett, and he would get a year to start on a competitive team before hitting free agency. The Browns don't have any reason to make a longer commitment with Watson in the fold. Cringe says, no, the team is set with Jacoby. I think our offense changed a little. Huh. Interesting. Well, they're definitely locked in for years to come with the Watson deal. So, I mean, it really just comes down to when would Watson be able to play. And it looks like it's possible that he wouldn't be able to play until the new season of 2023. If everything goes down like folks are saying. But let's continue. Cleveland obviously wouldn't be a logical landing spot if Watson is suspended only for part of the season. And there might not be any money left in the coffers for an organization that already spending $280 million in cash this year. But it's not hard to imagine a scenario where a Garoppolo to Cleveland deal could suit all parties. If it doesn't happen, Garoppolo might now be in a position where he'd have to take a significant pay cut either to stay with the Niners or to sign somewhere else in free agency, given that there aren't going to be teams with $25 million in cap space or cash in their budget waiting to sign him at the end of training camp. There's probably a middle ground where staying put makes sense for both parties. I guess that lands somewhere around $9 million, but that creates another headache, which I'll go into in a second. Cringe says, Baker will change the culture for you guys. He is good for 7 to 8 wins a season. I definitely agree that he'll change the culture because definitely Sam Darnold's not going to do it. He's definitely not going to do it. Baker Mayfield is a much more passionate guy. Sam Darnold comes off as that doesn't care type of vibe. But yeah. Jarrett Cole says, whoever quarterback gets injured in the season will call the 49ers in a deal to trade to get Jimmy G. Oh, yeah? That's a fair argument. So the last part of this section of the article segues into the next loser. It says, I guess that lands somewhere around $9 million, but that creates another headache, which segues into the next listed loser, and that's 49ers quarterback Trey Lance. Here's what they say about Trey Lance. Because remember, y'all, we do have to play the 49ers later this season. As a matter of fact, we play the 49ers, I think it's week 6? Let me double check that. No, week 5. We play the Niners week 5 at home, which is a 4:00 game. So this should be interesting. Anyway, so about Trey Lance, here's what it says, and I quote, the best case scenario for Trey Lance would have been Garoppolo going to Carolina and getting a clean break from the organization. Instead, there's now a realistic possibility that the 49ers keep Garoppolo around for 2022, at which point Lance's path to the starting quarterback job in year 2 is much more complicated. I think Lance will be the starter for the 49ers in 2022, and I think he'll be very good in that role. I don't think the 49ers traded 3 first-round picks for the chance to draft Lance at number 3 in 2021 just to keep him on the bench for multiple seasons. Hey, Twandon. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. This is really interesting, but they make a good point. The Niners traded 3 first-round picks to get Trey Lance. So you would think there's a lot more incentive to start Trey Lance. But check this out. Then again, it says, and I quote, then again, I also thought the 49ers would move on from Garoppolo last offseason, and the team kept him around and started him when healthy. Garoppolo's limitations were on display late in the NFC Championship game against the Los Angeles Rams, but he also helped lead a dramatic Week 18 comeback against those same Rams to get the 49ers into the postseason in the first place. Even if Lance is the week 1 starter, though, things are more complicated if Garoppolo's still on the roster. If Trey Lance gets injured or struggles, there will be a much more of a push to turn to Garoppolo than there would be if the Niners were relying on Nate Sudfeld as their primary backup. Garoppolo could also just win the job outright in camp. Again, to be clear, I think the most likely scenario sees Trey Lance starting throughout 2022. With Garoppolo in the mix, though, I think the chances of something unexpected happening are higher than they would be otherwise. This is really interesting, y'all, because remember, we got to play the Niners week 5. So Trey Lance showed some flashes. How much of a degree of difference do y'all feel that would play into taking on the Niners with Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm or with Trey Lance at the helm? What are y'all's thoughts on that? Because I don't know, y'all. That could determine the difference between a win and a loss for Carolina. Not to mention factoring in that 49ers defense that crushed us in the last meeting, which I know was 2 seasons ago. But still, that could factor in to how that week 5 home game against the Niners turns out. And me personally, I was someone that was kind of a fan of Trey Lance, or the idea of drafting him compared to the others. So something interesting to think about. And yes, as Twandon says, be sure to hit the like button while you're at it if you're enjoying this great content. Thank you so much. Thank you. But yeah, that's very interesting. Something to keep an eye out for week 5 and just how things go with the whole Jimmy Garoppolo situation. Because while Seattle would be tough, being that it's in the same division as the Niners, the Cleveland Browns, like, pending how this goes with how long Deshaun Watson gets suspended, Cleveland Browns might consider making a call for Jimmy Garoppolo, because as I said, they got $48 million in cap space. They could afford a 1-year rental of Jimmy Garoppolo. So we'll have to see how that goes. We'll have to really see how that goes. Jarrett Cole says we might go against both Jimmy G and Trey Lance. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, I know it's a home game, but when healthy, Jimmy Garoppolo is dangerous and Trey Lance is rising. So that's something I'm going to definitely keep an eye on, especially considering we got to play them. Okay, another loser in this article, which it gets more interesting, y'all. Stay with me. It gets more interesting. Derek Carr, Raiders quarterback, Las Vegas Raiders quarterback. This part of the article explains. Check this out. It says, and I quote, I'll just throw this one out there, but it's a little more tenuous than the more obvious moves. If Jimmy Garoppolo had gone to the Carolina Panthers, there's a decent chance Carolina would have committed to an extension as part of that deal, especially if it were for a significant draft capital. It would have kept Garoppolo off the market in 2023, which could be a big offseason for Las Vegas Raiders and their new brain trust of a coach in Josh McDaniels and GM Dave Ziegler. But wait, didn't Derek Carr just sign a 3-year, $121.5 million extension in April? Yes, this is true. But, says here, the terms of the extension was very interesting. Listen to these terms. The Raiders quarterback was guaranteed only $24.9 million as part of this deal. Given that Derek Carr was already set to make $19.8 million in the final year of his existing deal, the Raiders basically paid just over $5 million and gave Carr a no-trade clause to lock in the right to pay Carr $116 million over 3 years, starting in 2023. But there's no obligation for the Raiders to pay Carr a single cent after 2022. Wow, that's crazy. The logistics and specifics are just mind-boggling. Let's continue. If the Raiders decided that they want to move on after this season, they could cut the veteran passer or get him to waive his no-trade clause while eating just $5.6 million in dead money. The Raiders would free up more than $29 million in cap space in an offseason with Jimmy Garoppolo. McDaniel's former charge in New England would be hitting free agency. Does this tell us that the Raiders are about to dump Derek Carr for Jimmy Garoppolo? Ooh. No. I don't think the Raiders can be sure that Garoppolo will be available next year. And I would argue that Carr's the better quarterback of the two. Things can also change awfully fast in the course of 12 months, as we saw the Philadelphia Eagles and Carson Wentz, the Rams with Jared Goff, and now the Browns with Baker Mayfield. If the Raiders disappoint this year and Garoppolo ends up available in free agency, Vegas would have the flexibility to make a move. But if Garoppolo were a Carolina Panther, that would likely be off the table. That is really interesting. What do y'all think? Would y'all dump Derek Carr for Jimmy Garoppolo? Ooh. Jarrett Cole says nope. I don't know if I would dump Derek Carr for a Jimmy Garoppolo. I couldn't do it. I could not do that with a straight face. I couldn't do it with a straight face. Jeff R agrees too. Yeah, I couldn't. Derek Carr is still a good quarterback, and I just feel like, well, I mean, hold on. Let's do some comparison here, because now it's got me thinking. Both are similar in age. Derek Carr is 1 year older. Let me take a look at this right quick. Jimmy Garoppolo, of course, he is a two-time Super Bowl champion, but of course, he was a backup at the time. Been to a Super Bowl, played in the Super Bowl, but didn't win one as a starting quarterback. So let's keep that in mind. Walter Payton Award winner, OVC Offensive Player of the Year, first time All OVC, second team All OVC, 960 passing completions, 67.7% completion percentage, 11,852 passing yards, 71 touchdowns, 38 interceptions, a passer rating of 98.9. Derek Carr, 1 year older, three-time Pro Bowler, two-time MWC Offensive Player of the Year, two-time first-team All-MWC, Sammy Baugh Trophy winner. 31,700 passing yards, a 65 completion percentage, a 92.4 passer rating, 193 touchdowns, 85 interceptions. Also has 743 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. Ooh. I mean, as far as overall ability, I got to give Derek Carr the edge. Like, maybe you give Garoppolo the edge in win percentage, but of course, Garoppolo can't do it all on his own. But dang, Derek Carr already has 31,700 passing yards and 993 touchdowns. Ooh. To Jimmy Garoppolo's 71 touchdowns. Ugh. Yeah. I think I've answered my own question. Jared Cole says, Eric Carr is good. He's just in a bad organization. Well, I mean, to be fair, the Raiders have come close. They've consistently been able to get to the playoffs. They've come close. They just cannot seem to get over the big humps to get back into the Super Bowl. But the Raiders, they can get to the playoffs. But it might turn into another one of those Marvin Lewis sort of situations where they do good, but just can't win a playoff game sort of scenario. But I mean, dang, I didn't realize he already had that many passing touchdowns. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, shoot. Fair enough. Derek Carr wins that battle. Fair enough. Need I say more? Okay. Let's go into another winner. So we're still in the same article. We've gone through some losers. Let's get into another winner. Another winner from this Baker Mayfield trade, wide receiver DJ Moore, our number one wide receiver. DJ Moore. It says here, and I quote, on 498 career targets, the star wide receiver has caught passes from a mostly compromised Cam Newton, Kyle Allen, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, PJ Walker, Taylor Heineke, Garrett Gilbert, and Will Grier. In 2021, per Sports Info Solutions, Moore was thrown 34 uncatchable passes traveling 10 yards or more downfield, the second most of any receiver in football. 34 uncatchable passes of 10 or more yards. Definitely sounds like a quarterback issue. I mean, I don't know what y'all think, but that definitely sounds like a quarterback issue. Baker Mayfield is not exactly Justin Herbert as a downfield passer, but he's still a comfortable upgrade on the Carolina quarterbacks Moore has caught deep throws from as a pro. And honestly, I definitely think Baker Mayfield is very capable of hitting consistent deep throws versus a Sam Darnold. Because, I mean, we didn't really see much of any deep throws from Sam Darnold. And to be honest with you, the only one deep throw that I even remember was in the Jets game on the deep touchdown throw to Robbie Anderson. That's really the only deep throw from Sam Darnold that I remember. I think the only other deep throw I could think of is the one he threw to Ian Thomas in the Vikings game on that 4th and 19. But because his arm is trash. Yeah, I mean, I know he didn't have a whole lot of shots, but I mean, and even the deep throw to Robbie Anderson kind of slowed down. He had to slow down to catch that. Let's keep it real. He did have to slow down to catch that. But I mean, being that he is a deep threat, was still able to make it work. But I mean, if y'all look back at that deep throw he made to Robbie Anderson, he had to slow down to catch that. But DJ Moore, I think, will be very pleased with Baker Mayfield. Jarrett Cole says, I don't think DJ Moore will not get another 1,000 yards this year. Too many offensive weapons for Mayfield to throw to. Hey, I got no problem with that. Shoot, spread the ball. I'm totally down for spreading the ball. And if the offense performs like they can, he won't need 1,000 yards. If anything, I hope his touchdown count can increase. Because DJ Moore has way too many yards receiving for as little number of touchdowns that he has. So I'm hoping his touchdown numbers will increase this season. Okay, another winner. The Carolina Panthers defense. This is interesting. Check this out, y'all. It says, and I quote, if Baker Mayfield delivers league average performance under center, edge rushers Brian Burns and company should be able to rest easier as the season goes along. And that is very, very key for the success of the Carolina Panthers. How much can the offense capitalize when the defense can get off the field and get their offense back on the field? Either consistent 3 and outs or causing turnovers. This will be key for this season. Let us continue. The Panthers were 21st in points allowed per game last season, but that's misleading. Carolina faced the 4th most drives in football and inherited the league's worst average starting field position by more than 1.5 yards. It was 7th in the league in defensive DVOA through its Week 13 bye, at which point it collapsed and allowed 29 or more points in 4 of its final 5 games. Competent quarterback play should keep the offense on the field for longer, steadier drives, which would reduce the workload on defensive coordinator Phil Snow's defense. And this is so key to the success this year of the Carolina Panthers. Can the offense stay on the field as much as possible and capitalize on drives? Sustaining drives, capitalizing in the red zone as well, something that we've also struggled with, will be so key this year and will make the defense look even better than last year. While I would love to see more turnovers in the form of interceptions from the defense, at the end of the day, all they got to do is consistent 3 and outs, and that'll be good enough. Offense does their part. All the D has to do is just get consistent stops. That's it. VF Numbers, welcome to the stream. Yo, we finally trade N'Keal Harry. I take it y'all been trying to do that for a while, VF Numbers? Okay. Now we're going to go back to another loser in this article. This is interesting. The loser being the New Orleans Saints. This will be interesting. VF number says, yeah, like the past 2 years. Dang, y'all been wanting him gone for that long? Is he that bad? Dang. Big first round bust. Oh, gotcha. Oh, that sucks. But yeah, check this out, y'all. So, loser being the New Orleans Saints. And it says, and I quote, while the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the class of the NFC South, the Saints looked like they were well ahead of the rest of the division. The Atlanta Falcons are tanking, although the question of whether they realize it remains up in the air. Wow, interesting. The Panthers have far more talent on their roster than Atlanta, facts. But with Darnold and Corral under center, the chances of turning that talent into 9 or more wins seem remote. VF number says high expectations and he fell off the cliff. Dang, that sucks. But hey, y'all got to do what you got to do. Continuing. So that's under Darnold or Corral under center. Lance Dominguez, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Let's continue with Baker Mayfield in the fold, though. The Panthers are far more viable contender. No, he isn't likely to lead Carolina to a Super Bowl, but we saw him lead Cleveland to 11 wins and a playoff victory in 2020. Mayfield might very well be the second best quarterback in the division, especially if the New Orleans Jameis Winston isn't 100% as he returns from a torn ACL in his left knee. If the Saints struggle on offense after losing coach Sean Payton to retirement, the Panthers are much better positioned to take up that second place spot in the NFC South than they would have before the Mayfield trade. Interesting. Mississippi's Dark Knight, welcome to the stream. Says, after watching Mayfield for 4 years in Cleveland, expect at least one interception every game, especially around crunch time, and lots of batted balls and missed throws to open receivers. Well, we'll see what happens. All I know is week 1, may the best team win. But yeah, if one thing I will say, I wouldn't consider Baker Mayfield elite, but that doesn't mean he can't get there. But we'll see what happens. Duly noted, though. Duly noted. Jared Cole says, Tampa Bay number 1, Carolina number 2, the Saints number 3, the Falcons number 4. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. Lance Dominguez, yes, I am. That is if you're talking to me. Yes, I am. Been one since they debuted. But yeah, I just remembered. That's right, Jameis Winston. We have to see if he's even 100% healthy because he did have that torn ACL. So, but I think they also picked up Andy Dalton. I think, for insurance, if I remember correctly. So they do have some insurance in Andy Dalton. Late to the stream. No problem. Are you happy about getting Baker Mayfield? Yeah. I think it's a good move. That didn't cost them much. I think it's a good move. Good risk. Low risk, potentially high reward if it works out. I think it was worth the risk. Didn't have to pay much to get him. So I would say, yeah. I'm not a fan in the fact that we've had to play quarterback carousel for so many years. But hey, maybe this one actually works out. We'll see. He's definitely the upgrade over Sam Darnold. I will say that. Lance says, I think he's just okay. Definitely worth $5 million as a backup. Um, well, he's going to be battling it out for against Sam Darnold for that starting position. So I don't know. The writing is on the wall, though, that it's looking like it's going to most likely be Baker Mayfield starting week 1 against his former team, the Cleveland Browns. Lance says, thoughts on Matt Rule? Don't like him. I think he's a terrible coach. I don't think he has any idea what he's doing. And the fact that he was given a 7-year contract was way too much. I would have said like 4, but 7, too much. What did you hear from Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara? Well, the Alvin Kamara still kind of up in the air. I mean, you have to see what happens with the whole legal issue with him. And Michael Thomas, I heard, is supposed to be coming back healthy. He's supposed to be coming back healthy. So I mean, they even said that he's expected to be ready for camp. So word is he's supposed to be coming back healthy, Jarrett Cole. But Alvin Kamara is still up in the air. We'll have to see how his whole legal issues turn out, because that's still up in the air. And then we've reached to near the end of this article, and there's one last winner. The last named winner in this Baker Mayfield trade is the man himself. Baker Mayfield is the winner. It says, and I quote, on the simplest possible level, this is a victory for Baker Mayfield, who had clearly run his course in Cleveland. Even if the Browns hadn't been able to get the Watson deal finished, they didn't seem very interested in committing to Baker Mayfield as their long-term starter. The coach, Hugh Jackson, and general manager John Dorsey, who drafted Mayfield, are long gone from the organization. And in a league that's becoming more careful about locking up competent passers with market value deals, I think this split was probably going to happen even without a Watson deal either in 2022 or 2023, which, not surprised to hear that. This is a very good landing spot for the 27-year-old, too. The Panthers have high-end skill players, with DJ Moore and running back Christian McCaffrey as the two top targets. They have a newly upgraded offensive line after using their first-round pick on offensive tackle out of NC State, Ikem Ekwonu, and importing center Bradley Bozeman, who came from the Ravens, and guard Austin Corbett, who came from the Rams. On the interior, right tackle Taylor Moton is one of the better players at his position. Mayfield has thrived when his offensive line has been healthy, and the Panthers have a line that, at least on paper, which is true, on paper, looks like it could be very solid in 2022. Now, what does that mean? I'm not saying that it's going to just instantly become a top 10 offensive line. I'm not saying that. It would be great. They're capable, but I'm not saying that. If they could get up to top 15, that's a big, big upgrade for Carolina. If their O-line can get into the top 15, that's big. That's really big. So I'm hoping for at least that. At least that. They can get into the top 15. This offense has a chance. Let us continue. While Baker Mayfield's numbers have risen and fallen dramatically over his 4 campaigns, his underlying talent and skill set really have not. When Mayfield is protected and surrounded by talent, his confidence grows and he plays well. When he doesn't trust the players around him, Mayfield lapses into hero ball and takes unnecessary hits. His footwork gets sloppy. As much as Mayfield was physically broken down by the end of 2021, I think people underestimate how shot Mayfield's confidence and self-belief must have been. Mayfield has been his best as a pro when expectations have been low. Now, I think this is one reason why many say that this is really going to be start and won in the trenches. Because if this offensive line performs like they should on paper out there on the field, Baker Mayfield will be successful. There might even be some argument that Sam Darnold might even be successful behind this O-line. Whether he gets a chance to prove that or not, we'll see. But that's where a lot of this is going to start from and really show whether this offense can thrive or not. O-line and quarterback. We shall see. Let us continue. Now, he has an organization and a fan base that would happily settle for solid, competent play in 2022. The Panthers have enjoyed exactly one healthy season from their quarterback since making the Super Bowl in 2015. Since the second half of 2018, when Newton followed an MVP caliber first half by struggling through a right shoulder injury, the Panthers have ranked 30th in the league in total QBR. And that's why I say folks can say what they want about Cam Newton, but he was on his way to being in the discussion for MVP before that injury. Only the Jacksonville Jaguars and Commanders have been worse. And one of those two teams coped by making a much more expensive deal for Carson Wentz earlier this year. Oh, Mississippi's Dark Knight says, at least for the first, I'd say 5 to 6 weeks, Carolina will be relying heavily on the run till Baker learns the playbook. Shoot, I think they're going to be relying heavily on the run in general. I think they're going to be a run first and then break into play action, because I think the O-line and what we got coming out of the backfield, McCaffrey, Chuba Hubbard, Deontay Foreman, it's more run friendly. More run friendly. Ben McAdoo also likes the use of the tight ends. So I see a lot of double tight end sets, hopefully. But I think it'll be a heavy run first. But we'll see. Lance says, do you think Christian McCaffrey will be comeback player of the year? If he stays healthy, he'll be a candidate. If he stays healthy, he will be a candidate. Jared Cole says, they said Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold will compete to be a starter. They did say that. But we'll see what happens. You know, there's a lot of talk about, you know, it's in the bag for Baker Mayfield. And, you know, with a lot of things that have kind of happened, being that we're getting the former Cleveland Browns quarterback and the first game is against the Cleveland Browns, I think the writing is on the wall that the starter is going to be Baker Mayfield come week 1. I just feel strongly that the writing is on the wall that he's going to be the starter. Let us continue. Baker Mayfield quickly became a fan favorite in Cleveland, in part because the bar was set impossibly low. The Browns were coming off of a 1-31 record stretch when they drafted him with the first overall pick. They had enjoyed exactly one full season of above average quarterback play since the franchise returned to the league in 1999 with Derek Anderson's 2007 campaign, the lone standout across a 19-year span. Yeesh. Mayfield wasn't a superstar, but he was above average twice in 3 tries to begin his career. Now he gets the opportunity to revitalize another fan base lulled to sleep by hopeless quarterback play, which makes it very understandable why he's now a Carolina Panther. And that concludes this article. Like I said, it's on ESPN.com, written by ESPN staff writer Bill Barnwell. But yeah, the winners and losers of the Baker Mayfield trade to the Carolina Panthers. And it's been said that he will be wearing number 6. He was able to make a deal with Johnny Hecker, and he will be wearing number 6. Competition, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, if anything, Baker Mayfield is a very passionate guy. I really have a feeling he's going to change the culture here in Carolina, especially dealing with a previous year of Sam Darnold. I think Baker Mayfield is going to change the culture here, either in a really, really good way or in a really bad way. But one way or another, he's going to change the culture in Carolina. Not to mention, one last thing I wanted to kind of throw in there. Something I want to kind of throw in there. Is it fully over for Cam Newton if he doesn't land anywhere before training camp? Is his career officially over? It might be, y'all. It might be. If nobody's reached out to him by now, I think his career might be over. I think it's hate as much as I hate to see that happen. I mean, Lance says I think it's been over. Yeah, a lot of people say. I just know last season left a foul taste in a lot of the fans' mouths. But at the same time, it's like I've said before, you can't expect any quarterback to come in week 10 and just get the system down like that after not having any offseason or any time learning the playbook, and then just get thrown in week 10 and expect instant success. It don't work that way. That's an unrealistic expectation for any quarterback. I don't care who it is. Jared Cole says, I think Baker Mayfield's best career so far is in 2020. He first started the season his rookie year. Well, even better than his 11-5 2021 playoff season. Interesting. But, Baker Mayfield wants to hopefully become the franchise quarterback here in Charlotte. He's going to have a shot. He's going to definitely have a shot, and it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. but he helps his team get to the playoffs. Got to really consider keeping this guy. Now, I don't know what that's going to mean for Matt Corral, but if he significantly helps this team lock in a playoff spot, they got to consider it. They got to consider it. Not saying that they will, but they got to consider it. So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited. I'm excited, and I'm excited mainly because I can't wait to see this team go to work. I'm ready for that first preseason game. I really want to see what our team looks like out there on the field. And I believe what a lot of folks say. I believe we could get 10 wins. We could get 10 wins. Why not? I predicted 9-8, but I think we could get 10 wins. Baker plays great against Carolina Panthers 2020 season. Yeah, they did beat us. They did beat us. It wasn't easy, but they did beat us. So but I'm excited, y'all. I hope y'all are excited. I hope y'all are excited as much as I am. But well, there was something else I was gonna ask, but I totally forgot what it was. Ugh. Oh, I remember. So supposedly there are rumors that Deshaun Watson might get a 4 to 6 game suspension and not like a year suspension. How would y'all feel if he only got a 4 to 6 game suspension? How would y'all feel? Jared Cole says, Jace, are you going to any games this year? I am definitely considering it. It's just a matter of which dates, but I would definitely like to. And I might even try to see about going to a game with Mr. Carolina. I would love to meet him in person at a game. So I would definitely like to go to some Carolina Panthers games. I just don't know which ones yet. But I would definitely I definitely plan to. I know I got some things scheduled, but I definitely would like to. I would like to. So definitely look forward to it. And besides, so far I've went to 3 Carolina Panthers games and seen 2 losses and 1 win. So I need to go to more so I can see some more wins. I need to see more wins than losses. But yeah, most definitely I would love to go. But yeah, how would y'all feel if Deshaun Watson only got a 4 to 6 game suspension instead of a season? Because I mean, they could go by the gist of, despite the chance that he ends up being not guilty, however long that turns out to be, they may just do their due diligence and just give him a 4 to 6 game suspension. But I don't know. I mean, they suspended Calvin Ridley for a whole season with the whole gambling. So I don't know. Dang, they even got an article up saying that Carolina Panthers to have open competition between Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold to be starting quarterback. Actually, Jarrett Cole, that's a good answer. It doesn't matter. Panthers don't have to play against him. That is a good answer. But at the same time, I still got to remind folks, we have never lost to Deshaun Watson. So he doesn't threaten me. We've beaten Deshaun Watson. I ain't scared of no Deshaun Watson. We've beaten him. I ain't afraid of no Deshaun Watson. Shoot. Rally Sport. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Hi, I would play Baker Mayfield myself as number one quarterback. Do you agree? Underrated? He's better than Darnold? Oh, absolutely. I definitely believe he's an upgrade over Sam Darnold. Indeed. Definitely. Ooh, I got a question for y'all. This is just a hypothetical question. How would y'all have reacted if Baker Mayfield couldn't get number 6, but he ended up getting number 1? How would y'all react? How would y'all honestly react if Baker Mayfield ended up taking number 1? Oh, shoot, Jarrett Cole. Yes, Rally Sport. I am a Panthers fan. Been a Panthers fan since they debuted into the league. Oh, you're a Saints fan. Oh, okay. Will be interesting against y'all this season. I know y'all made some pretty decent moves. Got some insurance policies. I know Jameis Winston's coming off a torn ACL, but y'all did get Andy Dalton. So, I mean, that's some good insurance. Not sure if y'all will have Alvin Kamara. I mean, I know he's dealing with those legal issues, but y'all should be getting back a healthy Michael Thomas. Y'all drafted Chris Olave. And y'all still, oh yeah, that's right. Y'all got Jarvis Landry, Marquez Callaway. I mean, y'all still got some weapons. And even if Alvin Kamara can't go, y'all still got Mark Ingram II. So, and you know, y'all got the folks on defense. You know, the Cam Jordans, the Taco Charltons, the Marcus Davenports. Y'all just got Honey Badger. Y'all got Honey Badger. Y'all got, of course, CJ Garner Johnson. I mean, y'all got weapons on offense and defense. But I think we will split with y'all. I still think we'll split with y'all. It'll be interesting to see what y'all do with no Sean Payton. Olave, Thomas back out last season should do good. It'll be interesting what y'all do with no Sean Payton. But I think we'll split with y'all. I think we'll split with y'all. Jared Cole says, I don't like why Cleveland Browns got rid of Baker Mayfield because he is immature. Yeah, but hey, win for us, loss for them. That's all I can say to that, Jared Cole. That's all I can say to that. Rally Sports says, see how we do without Peyton, like you said. Yeah, I mean, y'all definitely still have the talent on there. For sure. Y'all still got the talent on there. And it's gonna be tough. Oh yeah, I forgot y'all drafted Trevor Penning. That's right. Y'all drafted Trevor Penning. And yeah, we gotta play y'all week 3? Oh yeah, we gotta play y'all week 3. Let's go. Let's go. Gotta play y'all in week 3. Mayfield wanted to leave. That's why they got rid of him. That's if not sure if Watson even planned the season. I doubt it. So the rumors I'm hearing, I've been hearing rumors that it could be a 4 to 6 game suspension, or it could be a suspension for the season. I guess it depends on like if he's found guilty or whatnot. But I don't see Deshaun Watson at least starting in the opening game against us. So, and like I said, even if he does, I'm not scared of Deshaun Watson. We've beaten Deshaun Watson. So Jared Cole says Panthers not going to rest until we get Sean Payton. I have mixed feelings about that. Oh, Rally Sports says, okay, I heard either the season or 12 games. Pat McCaffrey said on his show. Ooh, man, if it's 12 games to a season, ooh, man, then I really expect the Browns to upgrade at quarterback. I just find it hard to believe that they would settle with Jacoby Brissett. I find it so hard to believe. Like, if they legit can't play Watson for this season, I just find it so hard to believe that they would settle with Jacoby Brissett. As a matter of fact, what other quarterbacks do they even have on their team? Jacoby Brissett and Joshua Dobbs. I highly doubt they would settle with Jacoby Brissett. Vietnam 26, welcome to the stream. What's up? Good to see you. But I highly doubt they would just settle with Jacoby Brissett. If Deshaun Watson gets suspended this upcoming season, this whole season, I would think they would consider pulling to get a Jimmy Garoppolo, especially since they would have the cap to do it. Mississippi Dark Knight says, most likely Browns, Watson, and Goodell knows before anyone else, and I doubt it will be more than 6. Oh, so Mississippi Dark Knight is predicting no more than 6 game suspension. Yeah, I have been hearing rumors 4 to 6 games or the season, I guess just depending on how things turn out. Rally Sports says they are not going to do well this season, the Browns. It's going to be interesting because they got some pieces too. They got some pieces on that Cleveland Brown roster. They're not exactly a sucky team on paper. Rally Sports says, wonder where Garoppolo is going. Yeah, that's really an interesting situation, especially for the Niners. Because as I said earlier, the Seahawks may have been a thought, but I don't think the Niners would want Garoppolo going to a division rival. And being that the Panthers play the Niners week 5, there's no telling if Garoppolo is going to be the starter or Trey Lance. So that could help determine between a win or a loss for that game. Vietnam says Texans got all the way off with the trade. Yeah, that much is true. That much is definitely true. And the Texans, whew, man. It's crazy. Rally Sports says one of the best buy signings, Russell Wilson to the Broncos. He's really good. Oh, yeah. Russell Wilson can still play. He can definitely still play. And we have to play the Broncos this season. That's another team we got to play this season. So over the years, we've been hit or miss against against Russell Wilson. But it's all good, Rally Sports, all good. Johnny Hecker hesitate by giving Baker Mayfield number 6. I mean, all pro, 4-time all pro and all. But he's a punter. At the end of the day, he's a punter. He's a punter. So he's a punter. 10-year career, but he's a punter. Has a Super Bowl, but he's a punter. So I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised at all that he negotiated and gave up his number, which was the second time Johnny gave up his number. Mississippi's Dark Knight says, Game 1, what do you think Baker's stats will be? Whew. You know what? I'm going to say, this is what I'm hoping. Maybe about 320. 2 touchdowns. And maybe a pick. Maybe about a 53 completion percentage. Perhaps. I think that'd be good enough to translate into a win. Rally Sports says, I'm just glad I'm not a Jags fan. OMG, they were awful. Lawrence was absolutely awful, wasn't he, Blitz? Wow, so bad. I mean, he plays for the Jaguars. I mean, that kind of says something. He plays for the Jaguars. If he was on a different team, he probably would have had a little more success, but he's with the Jaguars. Dark Knight says, I'm thinking defensive game. Baker throws for 150, a touchdown, and an interception. That's going to really be tough to translate into a win for Carolina, because I really don't want to see Carolina the defense have to win the game. We've seen too much of that last season. Offense has to start doing their part more, because the defense will then get gassed, try to bail out the offense so much. Offense needs to do their part this season. It's very crucial that the offense puts up the points and the yardage this season for Carolina to be successful, especially defense as well. So that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm really hoping. But I could see, who knows, maybe Baker Mayfield by the end of the season maybe puts up 20, 25 touchdowns. 25 touchdowns would be serviceable. I mean, shoot. He'll definitely throw more than 9 touchdowns, that's for sure. And Sam Darnold threw back-to-back 9 touchdown seasons with 2 different teams. So, if anything, he's going to throw more than 9 touchdowns this season. Let's just keep it real. He's going to throw more than 9 touchdowns this season. Rally Sports says, Cam Newton not going to a team, has he? Hasn't gone to a team. I thought he was really good myself. I missed the news if he was traded somewhere. No, unfortunately, no news. Still a free agent. And honestly, I don't think any team is gunning for him. I think his career may be unfortunately over. Not because he's not healthy. He's ready to play. He's ready to play and get back out there. But I just don't think there's a team that wants him, that wants to take a chance. The only way I could see him getting a shot is maybe middle of the season if a quarterback goes down with a season-ending injury. Somebody might take a chance on him. I thought maybe Cleveland might consider him depending on the Deshaun Watson situation. But, yeah, I think it may be over for Cam Newton. And it's so unfortunate because I would love a redemption story for him, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Rally Sports says, doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Then would have got picked up by now. Yeah. And the thing that bothers me is just how things ended for him. Like, the fact that he got as much crap as he did for last season was really ridiculous. Because, like I said, you can't expect a quarterback to come in to a new team, having not played at all season, and bring them in week 10 and expect him to be successful with limited knowledge of the system that he wasn't with before. Just saying. Great at the Panthers, wasn't he? Oh, he is in the line for greatest Panthers quarterback in Carolina Panthers history as of now. Jake Delhomme is a good argument, but Cam Newton is up there in the discussion for greatest Carolina Panther quarterback of all time so far. Jared Cole says, what do you think about Robbie Anderson's comments at Baker Mayfield? I mean, it's Robbie Anderson. At the end of the day, he's going to say whatever he wants. But if he's out there dropping balls, that's going to be enough to haze him. So, I mean, that's all that I take it for, Jarrett Cole. And at the end of the day, if he wants to stay in Carolina, he better learn how to get along with Baker Mayfield. He better start liking him. He better start working with him because he's going to be catching balls from him. So about his comments, I'm just like, okay, we'll see what you're saying when you're catching passes from him. mean, hey, that's why too many players, they get themselves into trouble with the media and whatnot. Sometimes players just need to stand up and be like, look, not going to answer that question. Just flat out, just be upfront and just be like, don't want to answer that question. Next. I mean, yeah, you may piss off the press, but like, the press sometimes asks dumb questions and have the intention to stir you up and to get you riled up by asking the piercing questions. Just shut it down. Not going to answer that question. Just not going to answer that question. That's literally all they got to do. I don't know why more players don't do that. Like, agree, Blitz. Yeah. I don't know why more players don't do that. Or coaches, like, as well. Just, there's a question you don't want to answer. Just shut it down. If there's one thing that I will always appreciate about Marshawn Lynch, about beast mode, he did not hesitate. There was questions he didn't want to answer. He would either, yeah, you know why I'm here. I'm just here so I don't get fined. He didn't care. He won't go answer a question he didn't feel like answering. And folks can bash him, say he's a jerk for it, but beast mode kept it real. And what he wasn't about dealing with no dumb questions. I'm just saying. Mississippi Dark Knight says, I agree there. I don't know about Carolina, but Cleveland sports media is the worst. Oh, for real? Oh, dang. They're pretty bad. I tell you, that's what I've always liked about Marshawn Lynch. Just, he did it out there on the field, and when it came to the media, thanks for asking. I appreciate you asking about my shoulder. Thanks for asking. Yeah. Yeah. No juice. Dude, Marshawn Lynch, I tell you, that Marshawn Lynch was a trip. He was a trip. That man was a trip. That's one running back I've always appreciated. I mean, I tell you, Marshawn Lynch was quite a character. I miss Marshawn Lynch in the league. I know he never played for Carolina, but I miss that guy. I miss Marshawn Lynch. I know he had a lot more memorable moments with Seattle versus the Raiders and the Buffalo Bills, but I tell you, man, I miss me some Marshawn Lynch. That dude was hilarious. But it was cool that, he was able to get a Super Bowl. He was able to get a Super Bowl. But and I could see him going into the Hall of Fame eventually. I could see him going into the Hall of Fame. Jarrett Cole says, I saw Baker Mayfield's press conference and he answered all the questions truthfully. He is good in the mic, better than Sam Darnold, Matt Rule, and even David Tepper himself. Yeah, I think Baker Mayfield definitely handled the press conference. Good attitude, kept it real, and just you could tell he's definitely excited for this opportunity and he's ready to get to work. I mean, passed his physical with flying colors, and he's ready to go to work. He understands the position he's in, and he understands the opportunity given to him. I mean, it was just like Jeff R. said earlier. Dude took a pay cut. Took a pay cut. And Carolina only had to pay $4.85 million of a salary? Shoot. Baker Mayfield trying to come here, revitalize his career, and win some games. That's what he's trying to do. Now, Sam Darnold, maybe this will be his last chance. Maybe his last chance has already left him. But Baker Mayfield, we can say and speculate, but Baker Mayfield is here, and he looks like he's ready to win some games. He's got his number. He's going to be competing for starting job. He got here before training camp. Training camp's going to be starting in a few weeks. Hey, Baker Mayfield, he looks ready. That man looks ready. And I think this is something to be excited about. Yes, I know we've played quarterback carousel like crazy these past couple of years, but just think of it like this, y'all. If Baker Mayfield balls out and gets this extension, just think. We can really start focusing on other holes on the team. And that might equal in the draft going all in on a middle linebacker. Just treat up other holes that we may come across. You know what I mean? So I really think that this will either be a great season for Baker Mayfield or not, and it won't really cost us much if it's not. So that's one way I look at it. Jared Cole says, Baker Mayfield will be pissed if Matt Rule tells him don't be a leader. Oh, Matt Rule would be dumb to tell him that. He would be dumb to tell him that. You don't need to be the leader. Just be the manager. Just game manager. You don't need to be the leader. See, and there's still a lot of people that are still vouching for Matt Rule. Like, it's like I said before. I said it before and I say it again. If Ron Rivera can do it on year 3, then Matt Rule better do it on year 3. Otherwise, hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. I'm just saying. If Riverboat Ron could do it on year 3, Matt Rule better do it on year 3. Oh, but those first 2 seasons were COVID pandemic seasons. The seasons still happened, didn't they? If it was that big of an impact, I would think we wouldn't have the seasons. But they happened. So, I mean, we can't keep using that as an excuse. We can't. Because if it was that big of an impact, and I'm not saying that it wasn't, then they would have just canceled the seasons altogether. But we can't keep using that as an excuse. We can't. Jarrett Cole says, how many wins will save Matt Rule's job? However many it takes to secure a playoff spot. It's got to be playoffs or bust. It's got to be playoffs or bust. Even if it's 9 wins or if it's 10 wins, if it doesn't equal playoffs, got to go. Got to go. If Ron Rivera could do it on year 3, Matt Rule better do it on year 3. And I will stand by that till I'm blue in the face. So Matt Rule better help coach this team to getting enough wins to secure a playoff spot, division title, or wild card. If it's anything less than a playoff appearance, he's got to go. He's got to go. And I know a lot of people will say, well, that's not fair. 2 back-to-back 5-win seasons. I'm sorry, but a 2, 3, 4 game improvement is not enough. If it doesn't lead to the playoffs, it's not enough. Especially with the additions added to this team, plus the opportunity with the division being a little more open, especially looking at Atlanta, which Carolina should be able to sweep Atlanta. The Saints will be tough, but I still think we'll split with them. And with Tampa Bay, it's going to be hard, but if we could at least split with Tampa Bay, we got a shot. We got a shot. So, how many wins will save Matt Rule's job? However many that equals playoffs. 9, 10, whatever is enough to make the playoffs, but it has to equal a playoff appearance, or else he's got to go. There's no excuse why it can't be done in year 3. And he better figure it out. The talent's there. He's got the revamped coaching staff. He better figure it out. Jarrett Cole says, you have other coaches in the league in his first or 2 years who went to the playoffs. That is true. That is true. But just, I would think there would be some sort of improvement in going from season 1 to season 2. But when you get 2 back-to-back 5-win seasons, especially with the changes, because let's keep it real. Had Teddy Bridgewater, and they were competitive in some of those losses, a bunch of those losses, and then they turn around and downgrade from Teddy Bridgewater to Sam Darnold. I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah. But that's my thoughts on that. But I do feel like we should be able to secure 9 to 10 wins. I just hope it's enough to land a playoff spot. I really do. But we will see what happens. But that will do it for this live stream. We had a good turnout tonight, y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming through. 7 likes. Thank y'all so much for that. Y'all have been a great audience. I love the discussions. I love y'all's feedback. I love y'all contributing to the conversation. I appreciate it so much. But keep pounding. like I said, Baker Mayfield's a Carolina Panther now. Training camp's only a few weeks away. Oh, I did hear, I don't know how accurate this is. I did hear that supposedly Carlos Dunlap failed 2 physicals, which is probably why there hasn't been any news on him getting signed. Heard word that he failed 2 physicals. So that's probably why we haven't heard anything. And we're still waiting to see Matt Corral get his rookie contract signed. So once we do that, then we'll have all our rookies locked up. So they're probably just working out the details for that and maybe considering whatever other additions they bring to the team. But we'll probably hear something about Matt Corral's rookie contract soon, probably before the end of this week, but we'll see. But anyway, don't forget to, for those that are catching this stream later via archive, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the stream, hit that notification button so you know when I go live. And once again, thank y'all so much for all the love and support. I have a blast doing these streams with y'all. And I just thank y'all for the support. But that'll do it for the stream. For another Carolina Panthers Talk live on the U to the 2, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I am your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. And I hope y'all have a blessed day tomorrow. And I will see y'all in the next video. Thank you so much. Love y'all. Peace.